Hi everybody, Judy Tuttle here from Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Midland, Texas. Welcome to my Tuttle Up Facebook Live on a Monday in Midland, Texas. So happy to be with you here today. I have a beautiful online class to go planned for you this week, and also, a big ask to help me in a fundraiser that I'm doing to help the flood victims in Kerrville. And hi, Christina, the camp at Mystic Camp. My heart is just broken. This area is about 3 hours south of where I live, about an hour northwest of San Antonio. Hi, Roz, welcome. And I'm going to be doing a little fundraiser to try to do my part to help them out. And so I want to talk to you about that first thing today, okay? Um, I am, first of all, asking you to pray for the people in Kerrville and pray for all the missing girls from Mystic Camp, but also pray for the girls that were rescued. And I know that everybody involved in the camp in any way just has such a heavy burden on their hearts right now. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine letting your daughters go to camp and not being able to pick them up. It just breaks my heart. But also the girls that are safe and were, I mean, they had friends and family members that were lost as well. So my heart is just broken for this area. And I had to stop watching the news because I it was just hitting too close to home. I have an 8-year-old granddaughter, and I saw a picture of a little 8-year-old girl that was smiling and happy on Thursday and is now missing. And I just can't do it. So, anyway, I want you to know that this week, sorry, wrong slide. Let me see if I can find the right one here. I will be donating all of my commissions, anything that you place an order for, I will be donating to the people of Kerrville. I'm planning on making my donations to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. This fund will direct donations to vetted organizations providing rescue, relief, recovery efforts as well as flood assistance. The fund will support the communities of Hunt, Ingram, Kerrville, Cedar Point, and Comfort. It is in support of nonprofit organizations, first responder agencies, and local governments actively involved in response, relief, and recovery efforts. So, this is the fund that I plan on giving my donations to, and this is what it means to you. So, any donation, any orders placed with me this week, I will give 25%, which is my commission, to the Kerrville County Flood Relief Fund. If you spend $20 or more, I'll give you this week's online Class to Go PDF for free. Obviously, if you spend more than $50, you get the class and the PDF, but I'm also throwing in the talented tutorial PDF bundle that I am a part of. And obviously, the point is not what you get or what I get. The point is in helping these families and these people in the Kerrville, Texas area. So think about placing any order with me this week, big or small. And our family's already making a family donation in case someone's like, she's just after the sales. I'm just after a way to help you, help me, help them. Okay. So, you guys know my heart and know where I stand on that. So think about that, and I would love your orders, and I'm going to give my commissions to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund for any orders received this week, okay? All right, so let's get on to Tuttle Up business. First of all, Coneflower Celebrations class is coming up on July the 19th. You can come in person on that day, or you can get it to go. I'll put the registration link for that. These cards are going to be gorgeous, so don't miss out on that if that's something you're interested in. Tractor Tidings and Holiday Cheer Craft Along is my next Craft Along event that's coming up here at the end of July. This is a super Craft Along. The cost is $75, but you get over $45 in product. We will be making 8 cards together, 4 of them from the Tractor Company bundle in the online exclusives, and 4 from the Jolly Holly bundle in the online exclusives as well. So think about joining my Craft Along in July. I'd love to send you a kit in the mail for that. There are add-ons where you can add on the Tractor and Company and the Jolly Holly bundles if you need them in order to craft along with me. So the link to that will be up in the description as well. Okay, we just dropped a whole bunch of new online exclusives and kits. So take a look in the Tuttle Up shop. Let me put that banner back up there. Nope, not that one. This one. There we go. Tuttle Up shop. And again, any orders you place with me this week, I'm donating all my profits, all my commissions to the Kerrville County Flood Relief Fund. Okay, and then today, this is a brand new. So I would absolutely take your cash donation. Any donation would be great. If you want to reach out to me, we'll find a way to get that cash donation from you. Or you can make it directly to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund, but however you want to handle that, okay? Thank you. So this is the new suite that we are going to be playing with this week. It is called the Painterly Pears suite. It comes with this beautiful DSP, a bundle with a stamp set and dies, some beautiful embellishments and ribbon. I want to pull that out for you here. Let me put that away. So here is the stamp set and the dies. So you get some detailed dies, but you also get dies that cut out all of these outline pieces, the stems and the pears and the flowers, all of that. You get a couple of labels with that as well. So that is the bundle. This is the beautiful ribbon that comes in. Let's see, where are we here? Right here. So one side has a little more gold in it. The other side is a little more subtle, but this is gorgeous, gorgeous ribbon as well. These are the low profile sparkle gems. You get them in Daffodil Delight, or that might be Darling Duckling. This is Old Olive, and this is Pretty Peacock right there. So beautiful, shimmery, low profile means they're pretty flat, right? Not a lot of lift to them, which is nice. And then this is the gorgeous, gorgeous DSP that comes in this bundle. So that piece is not so wow, but let me pull this out a little bit. Here's the side that has the Darling Duckling and the Pears. This just reminds me of old-fashioned wallpaper, right? So pretty. I love that the basic beige is in the background of this one. I'm really loving basic beige this year. Look at all the beautiful colors in this. You get Calypso Coral, Petal Pink, you get some Flirty Flamingo, that Darling Duckling, all the greens, right? Some navies in here. Secret Sea is in there. Misty Moonlight, so pretty. This is fun. I've seen some fun cards made from this. I don't know if we're doing that this week or not, but it does make some lovely simple cards. But we are using this side today. This Petal Pink and Calypso Coral kind of fun pattern. This is the perfect page for just cutting out those pears from the DSP, right? And the flowers. All of these things can be cut directly from the DSP. And then an old olive mossy meadow leaf pattern on the back. Look at this gorgeous piece. I just love it. Some darling duckling on the back of that, and then you've seen all of these. Okay, so this is the DSP and the bundle and the suite that we are going to be using for our cards this week. Today is 3 cards. Tomorrow's a fun fold and a 3D project. I haven't decided if I'm doing them all in one day or if tomorrow the 3D and the fun fold. I have to tell you, we have a crazy week ahead of us. Our dog is getting spayed tomorrow, which doesn't really make it that crazy, but my husband is having some minor heart surgery on Thursday. And so my son is coming into town to kind of hang with us. And so there's just a lot going on. So anyway, I'm using the Spotlight on Nature dies as well for these projects. And then this embossing folder is called the Damask Designs embossing folder. It is not a 3D. It is a regular embossing folder. So it's a little thinner. And the impression is a little bit more subtle. Okay, so let me put this away here and pull out our projects for today. So here's the first card today that we will be making. And this one uses a card base that is petal pink. And we are actually cutting these pears right out of the DSP, which makes it really simple and beautiful. That DSP is just the shining star, right? So let's get started on this card right here. This is probably the simplest of the 3. So I'm starting out with a piece of petal pink that is cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. Okay, so I'm gonna just get a good little crease on that. And then for the front of my card, I have 3 panels here that I'm using. I'm using a panel of that DSP. Isn't that just gorgeous? Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to adhere this one right along this side right over here. Okay, so let me grab my Seal Plus. We have some very dear friends here who actually had 2 of their 4 daughters at not Camp Mystic, but a camp that is right next door to Camp Mystic on the Guadalupe. And they actually picked up their daughters on Thursday, praise the Lord, and got them home safely, having no idea what was going to be happening down in that flood-infested area. So they are feeling very blessed, but also heartbroken, right, for the other families that have lost their sweet little girls. So sorry about getting a little sappy, but it just is very, very sad. Okay, so I'm going to have to stop talking about that. Okay, so then this is another piece of the DSP, and this is Secret Sea with just some little lines of old olive going through it. It is actually the opposite side of this paper right here. And I'm just going to add this right to the edge of that embossed piece right there. Okay, so there is my card front. Next, I have a panel of Secret Sea and a panel of Basic White. Right here at the bottom of this panel, the Basic White panel, I'm going to grab my old olive ink pad and I'm going to stamp in the lower right corner, a friend is a gift. A good friend is a gift. I would say any friend is a gift. A good friend, an average friend, any friendships are a gift, right? Okay, so there we go with that. Next, I want you to look at this branch here. I die cut a branch out of old olive, and so pretty. I like all the detail in the leaves and everything. So I am going to add a little liquid glue here to the back side of some of these leaves. Maybe just a tiny bit on that branch right there. Okay, and I'm gonna add this right here diagonally across that card. Okay, so now that I have that part done, everything else is going to get popped up. So I can go ahead and adhere this to my secret seat panel. So this panel is 3 by 4. This is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. This is white panel. Okay, and this is going to get popped up on here, but before I do that, I need to grab my ribbon here, and I'm going to take about that much. I'm going to go diagonally across my card right here, and this is just going to get laid diagonally across this card. I'm going to grab my tear and tape here. Crisscross it right there, and I am going to press this down right like that. I like that because when it's laid down like that, you really do see both sides of this beautiful ribbon, the side that's a little more green and the side that's a little more gold, right? Okay, so now I'm going to pop this up right here on my card front, a little bit at a diagonal, right like this, so that the ribbons pop out below here and the loop pops out above over there. Okay, so thank you, Sue. I think it's very pretty too. I really think that the DSP really shines in this suite. It's just gorgeous. I mean, obviously the pears are pretty, right? But what people are going to notice really is that DSP, because it's just so pretty. Okay, so this is going to kind of go a little catty corner right like that. Okay, now I have a piece of that designer series paper, the one that has the pieces that you can just cut out, and I'm going to attach this to a piece of basic white just to give it a little more. I like to do this when I cut out of my DSP, and maybe not always basic white, but enough that it's just going to help give it a little more stability underneath those pears. Okay, so I'm going to grab my die cuts here. I'm going to use the big pear, the stem, and the little pears on this one, keeping this one pretty simple. So I'm going to grab my dies here. Here's my pear die. Here's my double pears. Adding just a piece of Post-it note tape here to hold it in place for me. And then here's my stem. So this week, a $50 order will get you this class kit to go. But you'll also be helping me with my Kerrville fundraiser. And You will also get that talented team tutorial, which has 15 projects in it. There we go. In the email, and obviously for me it's just about trying to be helpful. So there we go. So there are our pieces that we need for this one, and we're very close to being done, believe it or not. When you can cut out images from the DSP, it really makes your crafting go very quickly, right? Now, I will admit, I feel like that's cheating a little bit sometimes, but sometimes you need a cheater, right? Sometimes when you just need a fast and beautiful card, being able to cut the images out of the DSP is a real plus, right? Okay, so I'm going to take the stem, and you can see this just gives it a little more oomph when you add the basic white to the back. Okay, I'm going to grab my glue dots here. I'm going to put a glue dot on the end of the stem, and then I'm going to attach it to the back side here of this large pear. So pretty. And you can see that this pear that I cut out has a little bit different shading than this one. This has a little bit more of that mossy meadow right there, right? This has a little more of the old olive. So all the pears on the DSP are shaded just a little bit differently, okay? So I'm going to add dimensionals to the back side of both of these. Here's one more here. Maybe I do. I was going to say, I don't know if I need one on those little leaves, but I think I'm going to add some minis on both of those. Here we go. Make sure we get it secured really well there. So I'm going to start with my little pears, my pair of pears, my pair of perfectly pears. Okay, so this is going to go kind of right here to the side, right here. And then my large pear. Is going to go kind of over it and a little more right here. You could tuck it under if you wanted. Whatever you want right there. So pretty, right? I'm going to grab my embellishments. Right here. And I'm pulling off these medium green ones. Large one right here, a small one kind of catty corner below it right here, and then another large one right down here. Okay, so that is the front of my first card. Let's add the inside. So for the inside of this, I have another piece of that branch, and I'm going to have it coming up right here from this side. Now you could add another pear to that if you wanted to. I like to keep my insides a little more simple so that I have plenty of room to write. I know there's friends in my life that are like, I don't like to write a lot, so let's not leave a lot of room. This is going to go on the side here of this panel, and this is something, you know what, I'm going to put my DSP strip in first. Let's do that. So I have a little 3/4 inch strip of this Pears DSP. I'm going to put it around the right way here. There we go. And then this branch can kind of just overlap that a little bit on that edge. edge right there. So, so pretty, right? So I just added that little touch there. You know, I always like to bring the outside to the inside of the card. There we go. So there is card number 1. What do you guys think of that? Do you like it? Simple but beautiful, right? Okay, so let me put this one away. And then I will grab my card number 2, which I love as well. And I have a little technique to show you with this one. Okay. So this is card number 2. It uses a basic beige background. So what did you guys think of that last card? Give me some thumbs up, some hearts. Did you love it? Did you just like it? Let me know by giving me some emojis or telling me in the comments. Either of those things are always helpful. Okay, so I have a basic beige background on this one, okay? And I have a little special technique I'm going to show you with these pairs right here. And then there's the inside of that card. So this time I'm starting with a base that is basic beige, okay? Same as before, 5.5 by 8.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4, okay? And then we have a piece of old olive that I have run through with that Damask Designs embossing folder. Very subtle, but very pretty. Any texture is good, right? And then I have a piece of DSP here that is 1.5 by 5 1/4. I'm going to add that to the bottom edge here of this card as well. Okay, so let me put on my embossed piece. I'm telling you, I am like 100 for 100 of running out of seal in the middle of a Facebook Live. But I have backups, right? So here we go. I'm going to add this embossing folder. And you know me, I like to put my tape on the panel and not on the embossed panel because I always worry I'm going to smush my embossing. Okay, so there we go. I know it is, I agree. I think it's the prettiest too. So I'm going to add my DSP panel to the bottom edge here. Let's see, how far am I away? About 1/8 of an inch, it looks like. There we go. Now I am going to wrap around, and you know, I should have done this before I laid this down. Let's see if I can pull this up. I can. I'm going to put my ribbon underneath this old olive embossed panel here. So let me throw this under here, and then I can glue it back down again. I'm going to wrap my ribbon around this embossed panel that has the DSP on it, and I'm going to tie a bow over here on the left side, right in the middle of that panel, that DSP panel, right here. And again, I don't get too fussy about which side of this ribbon is showing because they're both gorgeous and they coordinate very well together, right? Okay, so there we go. There's my beautiful bow. Let's see if I can shimmy it a little bit more to the left side. Maybe I just won't even worry about it. Maybe it's just fine. I'm going to make it just fine. Okay, so that's going to stay right there. Cut my ends off here. I can always shorten my bow a little bit in a bit if I need to. All right, so I have a piece of basic beige that is 3.5 by 3 1/4. Okay, I want my 3 1/4 to be going this way and my 3.5 to be going that way. Okay, so I can tell that my ribbon is a little loosey-goosey here. So to fix that, I always put like a little strip of my seal, and then I pull it to the center of that seal, as long as you know that this part is going to be covered up by something else, okay? So it's okay that it looks like that because this panel is going to go right on top of it right there, Okay. All right. So I have this basic beige panel, and then I've cut 3 panels of this DSP. 1, 2, 3. So basically what I did, let me see here, is I cut a panel that was, here, let me just pull all these out of here, 3 by 3. And then I chopped 1 inch, chopped 1 inch. Okay, so chopped an inch, chopped an inch. And so the nice thing about doing it all in one panel like that is that you can line up. You see, you can line up your images. So it almost looks like one continuous, like you didn't cut it at all. Okay, so I'm going to add these to the front of this basic beige. So I'm going to do the outsides first. Hi, Jan. Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining me. There we go. And then this one, you can see how the images kind of all line up together. It's going to go right in between those two. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now this is going to get popped up right here on this edge right here. I do feel like I need to move this bow over a little bit. So let me do that real quick. Let me untie it and retie it right here. A little further to the left. There we go. Okay. So this is going to get adhered right here, and I'm going to use dimensionals on the back side of that. So let me grab my dimensionals, large and small. So tomorrow, hi Jan, will be Fun Fold and 3D, and we have some great projects planned for you for that. Usually I come on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but we have a lot going on this week. As I said earlier, hubby is having some heart surgery, dog is having surgery. We're just a mess around here. So anyway, okay. I have a Spotlight on Nature die. This is the circle that has the radiating stitches around the edges, and it is 2 1/4 in diameter. It's going to end up getting popped up right here. Okay. I have one of my labels that I'm going to stamp Hello Friend on. And then I have just a scrap piece of basic white. So I'll show you what I'm going to do that's just a little different. I'm going to stamp the outside in basic beige. I did not want on this panel to have there's no black in this at all. I did not want my edges to be black. Okay, so I'm stamping it in basic beige. And it's just going to give me enough of an outline that I am able to fill it in. Okay, so I have my inside peach part right here, which is this one right here. And I am going to ink this up in Darling Duckling. Right like that, Darling Duckling. And then I'm going to take my Calypso Coral, use a sponge dauber, and along these right edges right here, I want to have a little Calypso Coral. So when I flip it over, it's going to be along the left edges. So I'm just daubing on, I love doing this with sponge daubers, some Calypso Coral right along the left side of the stamp, which is going to end up being the right side when it gets flipped over. Okay, I'm going to line up my inside piece here with those basic beige lines. And then there is my peach, okay? So you don't get those rough, kind of hard black edges to that, okay? Now, next thing I did was with my branch at the top right here, I want a pecan pie, and I'm using a blender pen here, and I'm just picking up some ink. So let me smash this a little bit here. And I'm going to use my blend pen just to pick up some pecan pie. And I'm just going to like almost watercolor that branch in there. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to use the other side. And I'm going to grab some old olive. Pick up a little bit of the ink from the ink pad, and I'm going to color my leaves here using a blender pen and my ink pad, because they did not give us an inside image for these leaves, okay? They just gave us the outline for the leaves on this one. Okay, there we go. I'm going to kind of clean that off a little bit. And now I'm going to grab my Mossy Meadow and add a little bit of detail, darker detail color to the bottom edges of these leaves here. Just very subtle, not dramatic. All these pears look very watercolored. Okay. And then you just kind of wipe them off on your, you know what, I'm going to pull some of this ink. This is something else we can do. A little closer to those basic beige lines there and kind of soften that out a little bit. There we go. Okay, pretty, huh? Okay, so I'm going to put all of these away. Except for my Calypso Coral, which I'm going to need for my sentiment. So I've cut one of my sentiment labels here. And on this, on one side, I'm going to stamp friend, and on the other side, I'm going to stamp hello. So I'm going to stamp hello on this left side here. In Calypso Coral, let's see if I can get this straight with my head in the camera here. Ah, that was pretty perfect. I should try to do that every time. And then friend is going to go on this edge right here. There we go. So if you are coming in a little bit late, I want you to hear that I'm doing a fundraiser this week for the people in Kerrville for the flooding they have incurred this week. My donation will go to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund, which kind of helps all the other organizations as well. Okay, so think about placing an order, because I'm giving all my commissions from my orders this week to the Flood Relief Fund. Okay, so this is going to get put right here over this image. Do you like the look of that? I really like it. Kind of gives it more of a watercolor look and less of just a stamped image look, right? Which is kind of what's in this designer series paper. There we go. So I'm going to pop up these pears right here on my Spotlight on Nature dies. I don't think any of us really knew how much we were going to love these Spotlight on Nature dies. I mean, we got them at a convention, and I thought, oh, those are nice circles, but geez Louise, I use them all the time, right? And we have other stitch circles. I just really like getting different, let's see here, maybe a little bit higher. I want it to go a little bit off the circle at the top. Okay, and then my hello friend here. I'm going to use some mini dimensionals on these. My last card is a little over the top, but not that hard. Use lots of dies, but they're all easy to cut from the dies provided. So that's fun. So hello, it's gonna go kind of right in here, and then friend is gonna peek out from beneath it. There we go, friend. And then this whole circle is going to get adhered to the front of the card. But I only want dimensionals on this underneath this right edge here, because this part's going to go flat onto this screen panel here. So I'm going to put dimensionals over here. I'm going to put some flat glue on this side. And then this will get popped up. Right there, like that. So pretty. And then I'm going to add some of my yellow dots this time. I'm going to have a couple of them over here. And then one of them kind of right down here at this bottom. Maybe this time though, I'll use some good contrast here and put it here on my circle. There we go. So pretty, right? Now, let's do the inside. Super easy. Like I said, you guys know I like the inside of my cards to be simple and pretty. Okay, so I have a basic white panel, 4 by 5 1/4, and I have some other panels cut. Let's see, where did they go? Here they are, right here. So this time I cut a DSP panel of the same one that's on the front, but it is 1 inch wide. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this over my white panel here. About 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. I like that. So pretty. I'm going to cut my excess off right here. And then this panel with that petal pink and calypso coral is going to go right here along the bottom edge, okay, underneath it. So the pears are going to peek out, but the pattern piece is going to go over top of it and just kind of give it a little border there. Do you guys like that? It's fun, right? Okay, so I'm going to add some adhesive to the back here. And there we go. There is card number 2. How pretty is that? Do you guys like that? So fun. I love it. I love it. Okay, so that is card number 2. Let me put this aside. Now, card number 3, you're going to look at it and go, wowza, Judy. It is kind of a wowza card. So this is our card number 3. It's got several different die cuts, but it's really not hard. So I actually cased this card from the image that is online for the Perfectly Pears stamp set. And here's the inside of this. This DSP is just gorgeous, okay? So this time I have, let me pull out these pieces here. This piece of that DSP, it's got the secret sea background, lots of greens, lots of yellows, lots of pinks, right? Just gorgeous, just gorgeous. I have 2 panels of Flirty Flamingo that are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then my card base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. okay? So I'm going to grab my bone folder, get a good fold on that, okay? Next, I'm adding my Flirty Flamingo, and it is a tight fit because it is, in fact, I might trim just a snag off the top of this, just the little bit. This little trimmer that I got several years ago really fits the bill on this. Okay, when you need just a smidge off. There we go. So that's going to go right on the front, and you're just going to see a tiny little edge. Thanks, Brenda. I'm glad you like them. The nice thing about the Perfectly Pears is that it really is easy to make wild cards with this DSP, right? Okay, so this, it's going to go right here on the top. I'm using liquid glue because I know it's a tight fit, and I want to make sure I have a little wiggle room if I need it. There we go. Okay, then my DSP is going to go right on top of this right here, like that. So do you like how that Secret C and that Flirty Flamingo kind of highlight this DSP? I do too. I didn't even wait for you to answer because I know you're going to say, yes, it's gorgeous. All right, so this is the Darling Duckling patterned side, but we're using that gorgeous other side. All right, so I have my liquid glue here, just enough that I can get it, and again, I'm using liquid glue so I have some wiggle room, and there we go, right there. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the inside since I have all the pieces here. So again, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 is the Flirty Flamingo. 4 by 5 1/4 is the basic white, and then I have a 3/4 by 4 piece of DSP here. Okay, so then I can focus all my efforts on the front of my card here. So this week I'm donating all my commissions to the flood victims using the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. If you would like to help me with that, any orders, big or small, would be helpful. And I just want to do my part, and I want you to help me help them. So thanks if you're considered joining me in that effort. And as Sue said before, can she just make a donation? Sure. I'm more than happy to do that on your behalf as well. So if you spend $20 or more, I'll give you this week's online class, this one right here, Perfectly Pears, PDF for free. And if you spend $50 or more, you get the whole class and my talented tutorial PDF bundle as well. Okay, so there we go. There's the inside. So pretty. So now I can focus just on the outside of my card. Let me grab my pieces here. I have a basic beige, one of our party banner die panels. You guys, if you haven't invested in this yet, these have become so fun for me to make beautiful pieces on cards, but also fun banners, right? So this is the 1, 2, 3, 4th smallest. Okay, if you count from the inside, 1, 2, 3, 4th smallest, and I cut it in basic beige. Okay, and then I'm grabbing this stamp that is just speckles and my Flirty Flamingo ink pad, and I'm just going to stamp on this some blotches in the background, some splatters, and turn it all kinds of different ways here. Most of this is going to get covered up by the pear images, but especially along the edges, you want to get some good spots because you want them to kind of peek out from underneath there. Okay, I'm going to call that good enough there. And now I'm going to take this banner and I'm actually going to cut it in half. And you're like, why are you doing that? So it's almost 3 inches. So I'm going to put it a little less than 1.5. You don't have to be so perfect with it. We're just adding some length to our banner. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of a space right here between the two. Then I have already cut out of our dies these little hash mark kind of die cuts. Okay, I know. Okay, Brenda, no problem. I know you're always good about watching afterwards. So, okay, so this is going to get adhered to the back of this one. Okay, so it's just going to peek out from that top right hand kind of corner right there. So I'm going to add some Seal Plus, and it's going to go right like that, kind of peeking out from underneath. Now I'm going to put this as high as I can without that hash mark going off the edge, and we're going to be about 1/2 inch off the side here. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals. The first one is a little easier because I don't have to be quite so exact on where I set it as far as its distance away from the left edge. Okay. Here we go. Might move it a little bit further over, right like that. Okay. This one, this time, this piece is actually going to kind of go on top of it right here. And I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid glue behind this. Just enough to get it adhered kind of over this banner right like that. And it is going to go below like this, okay? I want to kind of make sure that they're kind of lined up okay. So I'm going to put my ruler right here, and then I kind of know where the left edge of this banner should be down here at the bottom. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back side of this one. Now, if it was a smidgen off, is the person receiving the card going to be like, oh my gosh, it's a smidgen off? No, they're going to be so in awe of your beautiful card, they're not even going to notice or know that they should notice if it's any off. But let's try to be pretty exact here along the side. There we go, right like that. So my ruler kind of helped me measure it off that side right there. Okay, so there we go. Now, next, I need to do some stamping, okay? So, I want you to know I've already die cut out for us some of these Darling Duckling little flower bundles here that are a part of this die set, okay? There we go. I have just some white scraps here that I'm going to use. And I want to make these little flowers that are right here inside this DSP, okay? So I have my flower bundle stamp, and I have some Flirty Flamingo here. I'm trying to mimic that. So I'm going to stamp it 3 times in Flirty Flamingo. Okay, right like that. Then what I did is I got my blender pins and I got Calypso Coral and Flirty Flamingo. Okay, so I'm starting with my light flirty flamingo, and I'll just do one set of them for you because I actually have them all already all colored and die cut out for us. So I started with flirty flamingo like this, trying to kind of keep the center of the flower free from any ink because we're going to stamp our darling duckling in the center. Okay, so now I have my dark flirty flamingo here. I'm just kind of bringing it out from the center like this, kind of like it is in the picture right there. I'm going to bring it out from the center, right like that. Okay. Then I'm grabbing my dark Calypso coral. You see how you have these little dark places right in here? I am going to just add some of those dark spaces of Calypso coral right inside each of those flowers, right like that. Now, I always like to take my lightest color and kind of blend it all together, right? All those colors come together. So I hope you guys all had a beautiful 4th of July. I love 4th of July. It's probably my favorite ever holiday. Lots of great childhood memories about the 4th. We paraded, we pooled, we ate, we went to fireworks. It was all fun. Okay, so there's one set of them there. And then I'm going to grab, there's this stamp that has the insides of these flowers here, and my darling duckling. And I'm going to stamp the darling duckling inside the middles of each of those flowers. Let me do this side one again right here. So I don't think I got it. There we go. Nothing on it. And so then that's what it looks like when it's done, which matches pretty perfectly the flowers that are in the DSP. Okay, so like I said, I've already cut out a set of 3 of those, colored and cut them just like I did just then. There we go. And then what we're going to do with this is we're going to have one set of these popped up right here in this corner, kind of over that hashtag. Is it popped up or is it flat? It looks like it's flat. So let's take some glue. Kind of go right like that, okay? And then I have another set of them. Kind of down in this bottom right corner right here. Along the side, right like that. I have some of these darling duckling flowers. Boop, 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 boop. Maybe going a little bit off the edge right there. And another set of them. Over here to this side right there. Okay, so not so hard, right? We're doing great. Okay, so now our large pears. So our large pears are going to be done very similar to what we did with the small pears. I'm going to grab some basic beige ink here. This one's a little simpler because the leaves as well have an inside stamp to them. So there we go. There's one of my pears. Here's my other pear. Okay, and then I'm going to have my outline of my stem, which are going to be inked in Mossy Meadow. And then I'm going to use my sponge daubers to ink up. There we go. my insides. Okay, so I'm going to start with my solid inside image here. And again, I used basic beige instead of basic black because I don't want a harsh edge around it. Okay, so I'm going to grab Darling Duckling here. And I'm going to ink the inside with, oops, almost messed up. Think about what you're doing, Judy. Okay, so I'm going to grab Mossy Meadow and my Old Olive, and I'm just going to brush on to this. Which one is this one? That is Mossy Meadow. Okay, so Old Olive here. I'm going to add with a dauber some Old Olive ink, like that. And then I'm going to use another dauber and brush on some mossy. Just daub it on. Daubers. They're called daubers for a reason, right? Just to that little edge there. Now, when I stamp this, you're going to see all those colors kind of pop out. So let me kind of do my best to get in the middle of that basic beige. Whoops! There we go. Now, when I die cut this out, that little edge there, basic beige, will die cut out. Okay? So let's do it one more time. Let me get rid of the ink that is on this right now. And we're going to start over. But this time, we're going to add a little less Mossy Meadow and a little more Old Olive. Okay, so let me grab my Darling Duckling here. Almost did it again. I'm going to put away my Mossy Meadow for a second, just to get it out of the way. I'm going to grab my sponge dauber and add Old Olive right along this edge right here. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'm having the dropsies today. Okay, here we go. Right inside that right there. There we go. So pretty, right? Do you like how it just kind of gives the variation that you have in the pears right here? I know, I love basic beige. I love it. Okay, so now on the inside here of my leaves, I'm going to stamp the whole thing in Old Olive. And then I'm going to brush on a little Mossy Meadow on the edges. Okay, so let's stamp the whole thing in Old Olive. Add a little Mossy Meadow around the edges right here, just to add a little darkness, a little shading. Okay. There we go. So pretty, right? Let's do it one more time. Old Olive, Mossy Meadow. Old Olive. Some shading of Mossy Meadow around the edges. There we go. There we go. So there are my stems. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my dies and I'm going to die cut out these pears. So I have two pieces. I have my large pear and my stem is what I'm going to be using for these. So my large pear. Add my tear and tape. Let me run this one through. All right. And one more time here. And then we're almost done. I know it feels like it's, I have a lot to do, but really I'm very close. All right, so here we go, one more time. I really like that flirty flamingo around the edge here of this card. I just think it helps those pink flowers just pop a lot. Right? Okay, so there's my other pair and here's my other stem. All right, I think that actually is all the stamping we are doing. Let me get my die cuts put away here before I lose those. And the next thing I'm going to do, super simple, is I'm going to grab my ribbon. Let me get these pieces out of the way. I'm going to grab my ribbon and I'm going to create a faux bow. So a loop and a loop like this, okay, kind of loopy bow. And I'm going to twist. And it is going to go right in the gap here between these two banners. It's going to kind of fill that space right there, okay? So let me grab my tearing tape. I like doing faux bows because they lie a little bit flatter than when you have a knot in the center. Right here. I'm going to just kind of fill in that gap right there with this faux bow. I think I'm trying a little too hard. There we go. Going to fill in that gap right there like that. Let me press that down really well. Okay, I'm going to put glue dots behind my pears. I'm feeling a little bit like my friend Erica Serwin today. She's like, so all you do is like blah, 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 right? But it really is that easy. So I hope you find it as easy to do at home as I do here on the screen. It's really just about putting the die cuts together. And all we have to do now is pop these up to cover that gap there. So one of them is going to go right here. And another one of them is going to go right here next to it. And then I need to stamp my sentiment and I will be pretty much good to go. All right, so let's add some dimensionals to the back here. This really is a wow card. Something that when you give it to whoever is going to get it, they're going to say, this card is stunning and amazing, right? Which, let's not lie, we all love when people gush over our projects, right? Okay, let's go right there. Let's do another one over here on this other side. Right, like that. I've got thank you here that I'm going to put inside this label strip, and this time I'm going to stamp it in Secret C. Love Secret C. It's probably my favorite ink color ever. Okay, I'm going to kind of do it a little more to the right than to the left. Boop, right there. Thank you. This is going to get some liquid glue on the back. We don't need to pop it up because it's going to set on these pears that are already popped. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take these remaining set of flowers and I'm going to adhere it right here to the side of, isn't that gorgeous? Wowza. Wowza is right. Okay, here we go. Let's see, how did I do this? Kind of like that. And then I'm going to take these darker embellishments. And I'm going to sprinkle them around my label here. So I'm going to put one kind of up in this corner right here. Not off the edge, inside the edge. One of them is going to go right in this kind of empty space right there. I have a small one down here in the middle of this flower. And then I have a couple down here. I'm going to put one on the pear and one on the banner right there. Okay, so there is my final card for today. And this card actually is a little stepped up from our fun fold for tomorrow. So if you're like, wowza, I can't do that, you can. You can do it, I promise you. Let me pull out all 3 cards for today. I would love to get this card class in your hands. How pretty is that? So for this week, in case you missed it at the beginning, I'm donating all the proceeds from all of my orders to the Kerrville County Flood Relief Fund. If you spend $50, of course, you can get the start of this kit. Where do you get your tearing tape? Thank you. Tearing tape we sell. Tearing tape we sell, Sherry. So if you need some of that, I'd be glad to get some of that in your hands. So here's our 3 cards for today. Remember that we have 2 more tomorrow. Well, we have another fun fold and we have a 3D item tomorrow. So I hope that you will love that. And I really hope that you'll help me this week with my fundraiser. TitleUpShop.com. Know my heart. Know that I just want to be helpful. And yes, our family has given a donation of our own. And we just want to help you get involved if you need a way to get involved. So continue, please, to pray for Kerrville and the girls from the Mystic Camp. So God bless everybody. I will be back here tomorrow and probably 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So see you later. Bye-bye. I would love your love and your hearts and your thumbs up as well. So those always make me feel happy. So God bless. Share me out if you have friends that you know who might want to see these cards. So bye-bye.